you're doing a good job so far.
Thank you. I hope this episode like is good too, just because of everything going on right now and like the president. But let's just talk about like our friendship, how we met. I don't know if you remember class.
Of course.
Oh, she said of course. And then we can just talk about like what it was like living together in China.
Mm-hmm.
We met during class at first because it started when we had a week of class, and then we were preparing to go to China. And I remember Jason, of course, was like bragging on you in class, and it came time for us to like decide if we wanted to room with someone.
We were sitting together on the class, and we signed for roommates. We were special in those group.
And I think you were kind of like, yo, you want to be roommates? And I was like, yes, sure.
Because I did not know you, and I did not know everyone else in that class.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you were close to me, even I do not know you.
Yeah.
Maybe because of the hairstyle.
Yeah. Yes.
I think it's just your personality, like you sitting around there and like everything around you is like, I'm friendly.
Yes. But I do remember, I think I had braids. Like I had those like long, like big, no, it was twists. Like these big twists. And I remember you were asking, you were like, oh, how do you do your hair? Like, is it heavy? Like, you were just kind of wanting to know. Like, I think our first conversation just about like our differences kind of were about like hair.
Yeah. And we have a lot of conversations about the hair even after we coming back.
Yes. I remember one time we were in the apartment and I had like just washed it and I was styling it and I was using mousse, which looks like shampoo when you put it on your hair. And I remember you were looking at me like, I don't think it's supposed to look like that when you put it on your hair.
And then remember you brought I think it's a gel like this size.
Yes.
It's a full size and you brought it all the way to China. And you brought everything. You brought like the Bluetooth thing and all the mirror, the scissors. You have everything with you.
I was prepared. I overpacked for that trip.
I think you had a chili sauce.
Yes, I did. No, I brought hot sauce. Y'all, I brought hot sauce to China. Oh my gosh. I just wanted to be prepared because I just didn't know. Like, because I have hot sauce withdrawal sometimes. We would eat foods with chilies on them because I remember in Beijing there were lots of like spicy dishes that you could have, and you were like, "Oh, this is nothing." You were eating it and just chilling, and I was like,
I cannot have the hot sauce. It's too spicy for me.
That's so interesting. I think it's a different type of peppers. That's what it has to be. Another thing that was interesting was when we first got to Beijing, we went to like a lot of touristy places. And a lot of people wanted to take my picture and Mark's picture. I don't know if you remember Mark?
Yeah, and they touch your hair without like noting you.
Yeah, and I remember you were like, I don't know if you remember, because and then one day you were like, no, like she's good. Like she doesn't want to take pictures. I don't know where we were. It was like after the Forbidden Palace. But yeah, how did you feel? Because like I said, we went to a lot of touristy places that first week, and we were learning a lot and all of that. There were lots of opportunities, lots of times that we were exposed to like some Chinese tradition, and like our classmates would kind of say things that were interesting sometimes. And I remember I had to like check with myself, but how did you feel kind of like, you know, being in, you know, your country and these Americans, these foreigners are here and you're observing them interact and like.
Well, I feel like what you have either what interests you guys or the difficulty living there is a different perspective. Like that perspective had never been an issue to me. I never know, oh, there's this side of problems like a language or the culture thing. And I feel like it's like an adventure with you guys, because even if I did not be the roommate with you, I probably never have the chance to know how the foreigner think living in my
Yeah.
country. And also like even we were not friends, you may not know how the foreigner think about America or living here.
Yeah. The cool thing about being in an interracial, intercultural friendship is like
Mhm.
you get other perspectives and you get to see, oh well, from someone else's eyes, this is what I look like, or my culture seems like. And sometimes that stuff is misguided, but what are your thoughts on the things happening in America today, the things that are being said about like coronavirus?
About the coronavirus, you still remember like at that time, and I saw you just started posting videos online,
Mm-hmm.
and I like I replied to you and be like, you got to stay home. This is much more serious than the government
Yes.
says. I think back then I think they do not allow masks. They say, oh, you do not need masks over there, but because they started in China, so I know like exactly how bad it's gonna be.
Mm.
And so I do not know much other people like Americans. So you are my friends, and I
Yeah.
feel like you are just out there. I gotta like keep you out of this. From me, from my side, there's no actions being taken. But I think my situation is much better because my family and friends they send me all the masks or whatever I need from overseas. So I got all of those all the time. Other people do not have the stuff I have, like
Yeah.
do not have what would protect me. I feel sad even I'm not American, but
Mm.
being here and like looking other people, so I feel sad.
Not been taking a whole lot of precautions recently. Things are opening back up and people are starting to gather
Yeah,
in larger groups and not wear masks.
because I do not know much like Americans, but I feel like on internet everyone's saying, "Oh, stay home, don't go out,"
Mm-hmm.
and then on real life everyone's on the beach.
Out, yeah.
That's
How do you feel? There were some news articles where Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, basically people were turning anyone that looked like they were of Chinese descent away, like for business. Like,
this. This is definitely not right and not fair. But I do not agree. But I do understand what
mm,
they are doing. Like maybe they are scared, maybe they just racist, but I can understand, but I do not agree. When I told you when you back to China, everyone is like try to touch your hair, and you feel like because you do not know what they were thinking, what they were trying to do. Are they do not like you because you're different, or they just curious, or they just do not know, or they scared. You do not know what's happening on them, and they feel the same thing about you. Even their actions make you feel uncomfortable. Getting a delivery or taking an Uber, and they refuse to service me just because how I look.
wow.
I I think it still happens sometimes, like or it's not about the coronavirus. Like I took Uber, and then they just ask you like, "Oh, are you Chinese? Where are you from? Are you Korean? Are you Japanese?" Something like that.
Yeah.
I think all the things how you define what do you think of others is depends on how you feel about the whole situation. Because to me, I understand those like, oh, they do not know me, they do not know the culture, they do not know the news over there, they just don't know the whole world, the whole life about the Asian people. So they may like refuse or bully or racist those Asian people. But I would say it's unfair. But oh, poor Uber driver,
Mm,
like, oh, you must like you never been to anywhere else, or
yeah.
you had never like been in trouble. You're just like a random basic
Yeah.
person I do not know, and it will not affect my day or my mood. But it's not right.
You like try to understand where people are coming from, and that's definitely one thing that I love and appreciate about you.
Me, but I know it's happening and it might happen on me. But when it's happened on me, I just feel, well, you still have to finish your school here. Like you cannot just say you hate American. If you do that, I'm just like those people.
It's wild how much sometimes, you know, people of color, people that are visiting have to go through with like ignorance in America. And of course there's ignorance in other countries, but when people don't know, or they haven't traveled, or they haven't interacted with people from different cultures, they have these stereotypes and biases in their heads, and they act on them. And it's detrimental to, you know, you, to me, to, you know, people who are on the receiving end of that. And then it's our responsibility to dust it off and finish school, go to work, you know, and just kind of keep moving along, because life isn't going to stop because someone was being ignorant. That's when we were in China, we were rooming together. There was a night that we came home, and it was a long day of like being out with our classmates, and it was you were often leading the group and kind of explaining to everyone what was going on and what signs said and what people were saying, and you were just like translating like back to back to back. And I remember getting home and you were like, I don't want to speak English for the rest of the night, I'm tired. And I was like, say less. I am not gonna, you do not have to speak English to me. Like, you could speak in Mandarin. Maybe I'll remember something from class.
We can just be silent and smile to each other, but not speak English.
The closest thing that I, from personal experience, could relate to is like the idea of code switching. And I remember, I think me, you, and Jason were talking about this, is sometimes people of color in America will change the way they speak in certain settings to be accepted. And it's kind of exhausting to always have to, you know, think about mannerisms and the way you speak and all that stuff. But that's not translating a language, so it's definitely not the exact same at all. But like that's the closest. And so like when you said you were kind of like tired and you didn't want to speak English, I immediately was like, yo, I can only speak one language fluently, so I'm not in your shoes. I
It also depends on like the language you are like speaking. Like I don't know because I do not speak Spanish, but I think between Spanish and English, or Spanish and French, or like German, they say it's not pretty much similar, but somehow similar. So I think when you speak in those two languages, you do not translate. You just think in Spanish and then speak Spanish out. But I think like when I'm speaking Chinese and English, is like two different systems. Yeah. So, and I'm not like the native speaker, so I feel like sometimes I do translate. So I think and I talk. But when you speak your native language, you just talk. But that was not personal, you know that.
Yeah, no, I know. But I just remembered like how honest you were, and I was like, because for me, when I know someone's my friend, when they can tell me how they're honestly feeling, and then like they know that I'll respect whatever they're feeling, and then I will do what I have to do to make sure that you're good.
Overall, my feelings to you, I think you are very real, very true. Because you know some people from our group, or just some in general American people, they all say, oh my God, we're gonna hang out sometime, and then like 2 weeks later, I'm sorry, who are you again?
Yep.
Like contacting or like just meet up randomly around campus. I feel like this is not just some roommate I met for summer. This is like a real friend being there. Like it's a friend, not just a classmate or roommate. That's different like names and titles.
Yes.
The first moment I feel I'm very close to you is you cried on the Great Wall, and you were holding my hand or my arm or my whole body. It's like, tell my mom I love her, and my sister, and I think you have 4, and one name is Sarah, I think. And I'm sorry I forgot all the other names. Tell them I love them. And
Oh my
And you were
gosh, I'm like
crying,
tearing up again.
and I feel like this girl must trust me wrong.
I was so scared, man. The Great Wall was so much higher than I thought it would be. Yeah, that was embarrassing. I was terrified of heights before the Great Wall. I mean, I still am. I don't really intentionally put myself high, but I remember that. Yeah, I think it was because the we kept sliding, and I was like,
Yeah,
and it was so high. I was like,
there's no stairs.
that was a hike. How many miles was that up to the Great Wall? That
Yeah.
was a lot. Kilometers. It was in kilometers.
I still remember when you come back from work and then you asked me, like your boss, he didn't put you do anything that day, but asked you to prepare a presentation about like American society or something like that. And then you
Yeah.
asked me like, is this no more?
Yeah, that's right. But I think he was like trying to understand like what it was like being Black in America and just like American society in general. It was fun and it was a nice cultural exchange that happened. But I was just kind of like, am I doing something wrong? Like, did I not get real work because I'm like, but no, it made sense.
I think to them, like what they can learn from you from that topic and that presentation is much more than they need you to do that work. Even they have the work for you, but they prefer because you have those information everyone else do not have, and even they if they did not meet you, they probably never know that part of America. So I feel like it's probably cool because like no one want to ask me how I feel until you ask me. So.
Well, I care how you feel, and my YouTube friends care how you feel.
I'm still so impressed, like how many hairstyle you have changed since I know you. I feel like you never repeat one. Every time, every time I see you, it doesn't have to be like face-to-face meeting. It's like every time I see you post, it's a different hairstyle. And every time, I don't know, like every time I see you on campus, it's a different hairstyle.
Yes. I remember you saying the first time you said that in the apartment, you were like, it's like you're a whole new person. It's like you're a different person. You look different.
Oh,
you look so
that
different.
was after you took your breed off.
Yes, because I think you'd only see me with my braids up until the point where I like took them out in China because it was time.
Yeah, and I feel like is this your sister? And I feel like I have 5 roommates over the summer. Every time I come home, there's another one.
There's a different roommate. In America, sometimes, Black women will joke that we change our hairstyle every 2 weeks, which isn't wrong. Sometimes it's every week.
It inspired me about this because I got my braid after we come back, and all my Asian friends, when they look at me and they feel like, what are you?
Oh no, not what are you?
They feel like, are you half? Are you like American born Chinese or
Because you had the 2 braids?
The purple one.
Yeah, no, y'all, you got like individual braids and you got the like 2 long
You inspired me, like how you do your hair and how you do your nails. I feel like we are all girls, but we are so different. They can do everything. I can do nothing.
But you did it though, and it was cute.
I paid to get it down. And
yeah, you're not like the type of person to like pay to get it done and then be like, oh, Black people are terrible. Like,
you teach me how to braid, and I'm just so terrible about it. And you ask me like, and because I ask you like, how did you like did it so well? And you say, I have sisters. I have 4 of them. And I was like, but not on me. And you were like, but you do play toys, right? When you're a child. And I think the toys come with the hairstyle, so I do not need to braid them.
them came like their hair was done, but like it was
And
just
you
like,
took them
straight.
off.
Yeah, we would take it out, or if it was just straight, we would like braid it. Wow. Yeah, like this was fun. We can bond over some food like we always do. Yo, the food, I miss that one place we used to go to that was like right by the apartment. Like it was so cheap and it was so good. You know, I love the green beans. I can't remember what they're
Oh yeah, yeah.
called.
They barely sell that here.
That and some rice. Oh, girl, that was good. I've never eaten so many vegetables. Like when we were in Beijing, I ate all of it. Like man,
Because you know why? Meat is expensive.
oh,
I mean, years after, like probably you already married by that time, but like one day when I like go back and get settled for work, you should come with me, like in a
oh
different city. And if you have your family, just bring them all. I'm happy to be the tour.
yeah. Yes, I would love that. My heart. This is great. This was great. You were great. Loved it. You look so gorgeous. I love the top. But
I wear pajamas all day, and you just give me a great reason to dress. Bye.
bye.